Everybody. Hey, everybody, Coach Stacy Lynn here. My whistle is upstairs. But I don't want to do this long today anyway. I want to share with you something that happened this morning over on my Instagram page, which is also Coach Stacy Lynn, MS, as in Masters of Science. So some of you may or may not know that I've written a book called Pickleball Faith, Inspiration on and Off the Court. And I wrote this book over 3 years ago about my experience in the pickleball world. In fact, I have sent this book to Brene Brown, never got a response. I have been interviewed on Moody Radio about this book. I have been interviewed on Salem Radio about this book. I was actually interviewed by a psychic on her network because for some reason she wanted to interview me. I'm not sure why, but anyway, this morning, when I went to my Instagram page, I saw that this person had tagged me and they had provided a review of my book, Pickleball Faith, Inspiration on and Off the Court. And what I noted was that it was a startup Instagram account and that the review was done by artificial intelligence. It was AI. Basically what they did was they took the back cover of my book and they probably took the description on Amazon. They threw it into an AI thingy and then they wrote and then it spit out a review of my book. And they had Amazon, they had 5 stars in it, which of course, does deserve 5 stars because it's a good book, and all that. But I have to say, I was a little bit irritated that, hi, go West. I was a little bit irritated that I was tagged by this person and then they had written a fake review of my book. Let me tell you something about the book world in case you don't know. First of all, I've been in book publicity for 20 years. I started my ministry many years ago, blogging for books. If you ever got a book from a publisher and they wanted you to review it in exchange for an ad on their website, that was my idea over 20 years ago. And I had a good company doing that. But here's the other thing that I've noticed. The other thing that I know is that through the years, publishing companies have changed. And so if you're an aspiring author, here's what you need to know. Don't bother getting it published through an actual publisher because you're going to end up doing all your publicity anyway, unless you're somebody like Oprah Winfrey or somebody who actually has a lot of money, okay? So my book, Pickleball Faith, Inspiration on and Off the Court, has sold very consistently, actually every single month for 37 months in a row, minus 1 month. So for over 3 years, my book has sold. For almost 3.5 years, okay? My book has sold on Amazon and all that. So anyway, if you've never heard of my book, Pickleball Faith, Inspiration on and Off the Court, it's really like reading my journal, and it's a relationship book. And, I've had friends of mine who are they're some people I went to grad school with. They're like, this can apply to any sport. I'm like, I know. So if you want a good relationship book, check out my book. There's actually an angel story in here where me and my friend, I baptized her and then we had an encounter with an angel. There is information in here about how to deal with people that you disagree with. I'll share one story with you. Do you ever misjudge people? By the way, I look like this because I just got home from pickleball. But there's one story in the book that I always share, and I always shared this when I did radio interview. Yeah, sorry, I'm on my phone, so there's no way I can make it unless I flip my camera, but I can't do that because then it will show you the back of my thing. But you can still look it up, Pickleball Faith, Inspiration on and Off the Court. But You know how if you're a competitive person, you want to play a game, right? Or let's say you're competitive in business, but you don't always know a person's backstory. So this one day I was on the court and there was this lady. She was a lot older than me. She was on the other side of the court. Her name was Linda. I don't mention that in the book, but Linda knows. Linda's in her mid 70s. And anyway, I was sick of playing like really slow games that day. I just hated it. I was like, "Argh, I don't want to play her because, she's going to mess my game up. And I'm so sick of this. I'm so sick of being nice to people. I just want to play a game at my level." And I got this thought in my head, which was, why don't you ask her or ask everybody around here, what is one thing that you've gone through in your life that you didn't think you would ever get through? I know, right? This is a pretty deep question. So I went around to my friends, and some of the men I talked to said, "Oh, going through my divorce." I had another guy say, getting a, filing bankruptcy, relationship issues, etc. And then I get to Linda, and I asked her, I said, "So, Linda, what's one thing you went through in your life that you didn't think you'd ever get through?" And she looks at me square in the eye and she says, "Learning to walk again twice." I was like feeling about this big, and I'm already short. I'm only 5'4", so I'm not that tall. So I was like, oh. So I said, "So what happened?" And she said, "Well, when I was a kid, I got ran over by a car, so I had to learn to walk again. When I was older, I was riding a horse. I got thrown off the horse, and I landed badly, and I had to learn to walk again." So I was like, wow. Here I am, all judging her. Like, I want to play with her again because she's so slow. And I am literally looking at and playing pickleball with a miracle. A woman who not only overcame getting run over by a car when she was a kid, but when she got thrown off a horse, she had to go through physical therapy. Well, when I first started playing pickleball, I played like numerous times a week. I spent more time on the pickleball court than I did anywhere else. And then I eventually started getting injured. And a little over a year ago, I stepped in a hole in my front yard and thrashed my left foot and my ankle. I could not get a shoe on my foot for over 3 months. My ankle, I have nasty pictures too, I'm telling you. And so I have literally been in rehab for over, it's coming up on July. So, April, May, June, July. So in a couple more months, so 9 months, I've been nursing my ankle and my stuff back to health. And today I played 3 games. But when I woke up this morning and I saw that there was a person on Instagram who had targeted my book and had written a fake review using artificial intelligence, it really upset me. And I thought, you know what? I need to talk about this on my channel because, number one, look, if you actually read my book, you're going to learn things. And you don't have to play pickleball. In fact, half the reviews on my site on here are actually from people who don't play. And actually some people who've read my book and it inspired them to play, and now they do play. But here's the thing, artificial intelligence, they're lying. And I don't know about you, but I don't like when people lie. And I don't care how big the lie is. If you say you're going to be someplace at some time and you can't text me that you're going to be late, to me, that's a lie. And you have to be a person of integrity. If you say you're going to do something, be there. There's no excuse in our society today to not connect with people. There's none. Everybody has a phone. Even the poorest of the poor have a phone. And but when somebody is stealing your content and they're creating AI fake reviews with it, and I actually confronted the people that did this. First thing I asked them was, I said, this looks like it's an AI review. And they came back and they're like, "This wasn't an AI review, blah, 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 blah." I'm like, really? Because it even looks like your response is AI. AI generated. Uh, anyway. So I don't know. How do you guys feel? I know there's only a few of you here, but I'm curious. How many of you don't like artificial intelligence because it's taking over the arts? You know, I have a friend, I have a husband, I have other people I know who are in business who are being trained to have to deal with AI. And the problem with AI is if you are being trained, if you have to deal with AI, then you're training AI to think like a person, and then they're saying, well, this wasn't this is AI generated. It's not actually written. That's what part of my husband's issue is at his job, is he'll write something that has to pass the AI test, and they'll say no, AI wrote that, and we're like, what, you know? So you don't like it? Yeah. See, I won't either, and I will tell you. Because of what I do with people and coaching and stuff, I've actually gone into some of the therapy type AIs, and I've done a little chatting. And I tell you, it is really, really creepy. And there are stories out there where children have actually chatted with some of these psychologist type things. And there's one story in particular where a kid actually committed suicide because he got so attached to this AI bot. And you know, and stuff. But here's for me the greater issue. The greater issue with not only people lying and using AI to write fake reviews and stuff. And I'm not that much. I don't have a big ego, right? I mean, I don't care how many people follow me. I don't follow numbers, anything like that. And I certainly don't need an AI review of my book on Amazon. I got plenty of real reviews, and I got one woman who gave me a nasty fake review. She even admitted she didn't even read the book. It took Amazon 4 months to remove it, which also angered me. But the other thing, though, with AI, and this is the last thing I'll say, is that with AI, what they're doing is mocking real intelligence. They're basically saying, well, artificial intelligence is better and more superior than human intelligence. And even weirdos like Elon Musk, and he is, you know, hey, he just gave the Hitler salute at the thingy. Don't even get me started on that. But anyway, oh, I know he's autistic, whatever. That was intentional, people. But that would be a Bible News Radio show, not a coaching show. But what I will say is that if you really think about AI and the damage that it's doing, it's basically saying artificial intelligence is superior than human intelligence. And that is a lie. That is a flat out lie. God created humans with higher intelligence and with the ability to feel, to reason, to love, to hate. We are real. We are made in God's image. So, you know, I look at AI and I think, man, you talk about something being of the devil. Artificial intelligence is of the devil. Can it be used for good? Yes. But even people like Elon Musk are warning against AI. And this is also a thing. Right, man has to program it. However, what I would say is that it's beyond that now. And I think Elon knows it. And even my husband, who is a computer genius, he's like, yeah, the capability of what AI can do now, you know, is basically way beyond humans. And that's what they're concerned about. But in the long run, ultimately, what I ultimately think is that this is the brainchild of Satan and the Antichrist. And this is the only way. There was an article put out, I'm not sure when it was, probably about a year ago. But anyway, there was an article put out that basically, I'm trying to remember the title, but I think it said, is AI the new Babylon or something like that? You know, the Tower of Babel. Is AI the new Tower of Babel? Because, you know, the Tower of Babel was when they took all the people, you know, and they were going to go ahead and try to make themselves higher than God. But of course, God always knows He's one step ahead of Satan, and he mixed up all their languages, which is why we have lots of languages today. Yeah. So AI is dangerous, and we need to be careful about it, because when people are using it, I understand somebody who wants to start a business, they want to encourage authors and stuff. That's one thing. But when it's really clear they didn't read my book. See, here's the thing. I've gotten a lot of feedback on my book, Pickleball Faith, in particular because of the angel story in it. When people read the story about my encounter with an angel in this book, I get email from people, and I get letters. I'm getting cards. People have actually sent me presents who read this book. They're like, here's a present for you. I had this one guy send me a God's Promises Bible book, which was really cool. I had another lady. This was so funny. She, when the book first came out, Stacy Lynn, who is a three-time USA pickleball national champion. She might be more now, but she had given the book to a lot of friends, and one of her friends got the book and she read it and she started underlining it. It wasn't her book, and so she contacted me and she's like, "Hey, I need a new book because I messed up the one that was given to me. So I shouldn't have underlined it." I had one person purchase like 25 books at once, and they gave them out to different people in their pickleball communities. So a lot of people have read my book, and the thing is when people actually read it, they will either pick the story I talked about Linda. They might talk about the rice story that's in there. They might talk about me losing my dad and how the community helped me there. They might talk about the cupcake caregiver story. They might talk about all of the different stories in there. They don't do this AI generated stuff. So it just really, really irritates me. There's a lot of injustice in this world. I have gotten over thinking there's going to be justice here. Yeah, I know. My point in bringing this up is just to kind of bring awareness to the fact that there are people doing this, right? And I, for one, don't need a fake AI review to sell my book. This book sells itself. My friend Derek Gilbert, who is on Skywatch TV, me and Derek go back, way back, over 20 years. Derek interviewed me on his YouTube channel. In fact, all you have to do is Google Pickleball Faith and put in Derek Gilbert. I think it was his show, PID Radio. Anyway, I was on his show, and I did an hour interview with him. And he usually only talks about UFOs, supernatural stuff, and all the fringy stuff in the Bible. And when he had me on, there were people who were kind of like, why are you having this woman on to talk about pickleball? Because it's way more than pickleball. It's not just about pickleball. It's actually about how we walk as people and how we're sanctified and how God makes us sharper people in the midst of conflict, in the midst of our judging people, and all that. A relative that was a pastor put a restraining order on me. It was not just, but God used it for my good. Well, good. That's good. Anyway, so I wanted to do that. Also, since a couple of you are in here, let me ask you. I know that I've been doing some stuff. I have an interview with Jeanette Hawkins from Daystar. I also have an interview with Tabitha Westbrook about her book. That really is good if you've been sexually abused or you know somebody who has. That's a good interview to watch. It's about trauma. And I've been doing a lot of other coaching stuff. So if there's anything you'd like me to talk about from a mental health perspective or a coaching perspective, I'd like to hear it. So let me know, okay? But in the meantime, if you happen to see any fake reviews of my book, Pickleball Faith, and you're reading the description and then you see a review that's basically rewritten of the description, then you know it's AI. And I do not approve that message, people. I do not approve it. But what I will say is that I was way ahead of the game. Pickleball exploded right after this book came out. It took about a year because the Lord has always given me foresight. I was doing blogging for books and all the other stuff way before anybody caught on. I was doing podcasting before RSS feeds were normal and you could just do it. We created our own RSS feed. And I was exposing abuse and evil and all the stuff that everybody now is just finally waking up to 20 years ago. So I just have to figure out what is the next thing that people need to talk about. It's probably AI. That's probably it. So anyway. So with that said, I've been on here for 20 minutes. So you can leave your comments if you don't mind and or send me a message. Either way, that would be awesome. And if you don't have my book yet, Pickleball Faith, Inspiration on and Off the Court, I read it. It's on Audible. It's like 2 hours long. As you can tell, it's not very thick. You can actually get a free thing of Audible and listen to it for free. I actually add more in the Audible version too. Or you can just buy it on Kindle, or you can get it on, in paperback. It's also available in a lot of different e-formats on Kobo, and there's like 20 or 30 different ones that you can get if you are an e-reader type person. The only place though you can get it in paperback is on Amazon. And if Amazon doesn't continue to be nice to me, I may pull it off Amazon if they don't knock it off. Because Amazon, they are bullies. And when you have somebody writing a fake review and you have to report it 100 times, it takes them 4 months to review it, to take it off. You know what I did? I pulled a lot of my business off Amazon for doing that. So, but if you want to get my book, you can do that. And or you can also get it through my website, pickleballfaith.com. And I only have a handful left here at my house. So if you want to get it through me directly, you can also do that until they run out. So there you go. So a good Joni. I see you changed your name again. What was the other name you used? Another Joni or something like that? My hubby lied to me before I was married to him, and he confessed it. God still had me marry him. Well, there you go. All right. Well, I hope you guys have a good rest of your day, and watch out for AI because it's pretty dangerous out there. All right. Now I have to figure out how to get out of here because I haven't done this live yet. By the way, thanks for the likes. I appreciate it. All right. Okay. See you later.